Well, it's week 2 of the LCS. I'm outside the LCS Dome with coverage brought to you by Alienware. We relocated from the studio. Joined right now by Santorin to discuss their game against TSM. I've heard it said from many pro players, Santorin, that beating TSM feels better than beating other teams. Would you do you have that sense in this moment?
Definitely. I think every time I play TSM, it's like I'm really wanting to win, like more than anything else in the world. I think it's also because I was in TSM previously, so I'm thinking even more about it. But yeah, it feels great beating TSM always.
They definitely feel like they've become the villains of the LCS. You tweeted something which I'm trying to pull up right now, right afterwards, and I'd love it if you can explain it for those that don't understand. You wrote, "Troll King is back. GG will play TSM." So what's the story behind that tweet?
Okay, so basically, like the Troll King comes from me just playing a lot of Trundle in Spring Split. I was basically playing Trundle every single game and hitting into the finals against C9. They literally banned Trundle all 3 games. So I'm just kind of like taking that as like an opportunity to be like, oh yeah, I'm the Troll King.
What did you think? And what did you think of that draft? Because I feel like I saw a lot of people claiming TSM's draft. Do you feel like they messed up a ton or potentially lost the game already in draft?
I would go ahead and say they lost the game in draft. We won 2 Trundle, and they pick no AD carry, a bunch of mages, a bunch of tanks, and basically like I saw their only win condition being the cheese they did in the yesterday's game, where Speaker goes blue or red to enemy camp and then try to dive top lane. So I knew the second that I stopped that invade, that I mean I knew the game was like kind of like already won for us.
And you just anticipated that because you'd already seen it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, also, I think TSM historically, especially like the last couple of years, their most significant play is push mid, dive top. I see 3-man dives all the time, top lane, TPing top, diving top, and I feel like that's like kind of how they get leads in their games a lot of the time. So as long as you stop that play, I feel like they're like a worse team in general.
Okay. I worry about asking too many TSM questions because I get flamed by people for it. But I mean, I have to ask: do you think that that makes them somewhat one-dimensional?
Uh, right now with how they're drafting, at least in this game, it seemed very one-dimensional. I feel like they might even have been like in a custom game before the game, being like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get this comp, and we're gonna do red to enemy, blue to enemy red, and we're gonna try to dive top. Like it seemed very like this is what we're gonna do, and it's very set in stone, no matter what like the champions on the enemy team are. That's kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah.
Because doing the same thing 2 games in a row, and not expecting the enemy junglers to like understand and try something else against it, I feel like that's kind of disrespectful.
It's so funny we ended up going down this path because you are such a positive, nice person, even down to I think multiple times you said you would have felt bad losing to Cloud9 or winning against Cloud9 in the finals because you would have felt bad for them. It's funny when I asked you like, oh, does it feel good beating TSM? I expected you to be like, no, it's like any other team, or I feel bad. Instead, you're just like, yeah, and they're one dimensional, and their drafts. It's just funny.
Well, I think when I think of TSM, like this is one of their worst drafts that I've played against. So that's why like this game specifically, I was like, yeah, this is really bad. Like I don't know how you decided this is the comp we should play, and I think no matter who you put as that team comp, like they'd probably lose. So even though we won the game today, I feel like we could have played a lot better ourselves. But they just made sure like no matter what, you're gonna win the game, you
Yeah.
know. So
I just like I know going into this year, EG really wanted to claim like the villains of the LCS thing, but I feel it definitely feels as though TSM has taken that on. It just feels like so many you're either with them or against them, and it's always been kind of that way. But it feels like more of that this split.
yeah.
Okay, let's step aside from that. What do you think about this jungle fiddlesticks thing? Because I live with a man who is talking a lot about it lately, and I'm curious about your take on it.
Jungle Fiddlesticks.
Yeah.
Uh, so I see how it can be strong because I think the clear is really good. Like obviously, like the ultimate is pretty amazing right now, where you can like ult and it insta fierce, so you do more damage. In general, I just feel like your early game is very predictive. Like you can like really tell like what the Fiddlestick is gonna do, and I feel like as long as you play around Fiddlestick's ultimate, like you get wards, like you push them out. I don't feel like he's that good of a champion, but I could see some people potentially pulling it out at some point in the season. I'm not the biggest fan of it though.
Okay. What? So, well, we won't expect it from you unless this is all just a way
Uh-oh.
of you. But you'll pull it out next game, and this interview will have just been a ruse.
Yeah, it might be.
Yes. Uh, what is your impression of, or I guess maybe I should ask, how did it come about that Mash ended up playing instead of Turtle? Did you find out about this like, I don't know, halfway through the week, or what happened there?
So I think Jason, well, Turtle has kind of had issues lately. Like he's not playing as well as he normally does. So we tried a couple weeks ago, tried to like kind of 50-50 scrims a little bit and see how Mesh would do on our team. Honestly, I think no matter how this ends up, like who's gonna start and who's gonna be Academy, I think both have stepped up since we started like using both of them. I think Jason the Turtle is taking it really well. I think he's becoming more motivated from it and not taking it as a defeat and just kind of laying down, you know. So I give like mad props for Turtle because he's actually like stepping up and actually playing a lot better than he did before. So I think this has been overall like a good thing for us.
Yeah, I think Mash had, what was it, like an 11-1-11. I'm trying to remember how many deaths he had.
Yeah, I think it was that. Yeah, one death.
Yeah, just ones across the board. I mean, that, like, I gotta admit, my first impulse when I saw Mash was coming back in was just like, oh man, why are we just pulling back so many of these players from like literally 2013? You know, it feels sometimes like the, roulette wheel for LCS, but he seemed to play really, really well in that game. So what are your impressions of him as a player? I mean, obviously you think you're gonna say you think he's good because he's your teammate, but I'm kind of curious just what your take is, especially since he's a player that I think has been in academy and popped up only occasionally for LCS, over the past couple years.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, both Solo and Mesh, I played on team with them in GCU as well. So like
Oh,
I
yeah.
played with them like kind of recently, like a couple years ago, and I see. So like the difference between Mesh and Turtle is kind of like Mesh kind of wants more resources. He wants to counterpick bot lane a lot, and he wants to play through bot. Whereas like we kind of with Jason, we're kind of playing more passive around bot, like kind of only playing through mid jungle support, kind of. Where like Jason will always do well in team fights later on. But I feel like Mesh really wants to like also win bot lane, and I think right now, if we can get both of our AD carries to play that way, like play where we're trying to win through bot and mid, it's gonna make us a lot stronger as a team. Because lately, especially when we play C9, it feels like we're kind of sacking ball lane too much, and their ball lane just takes over the game. So we're trying to like kind of find a way to increase like our chance of winning.
Well, so you were saying when you play with Turtle, it doesn't feel like you guys can play through bot too much. Does that not open up the opportunity to play through other lanes in a different way? Like, I almost wonder if you bring Mash out in situations where you're like, okay, well, this is double with Biofrost, and like TSM's going to want to push a ton there. So like, let's have our stronger bot lane there versus, I don't know, other situations where you might want to have a stronger mid or top.
I agree, and that's why I think both AD carries are good for us. I personally right now we're not really sure who the better AD carry is, and honestly, I feel like both are stepping up. Like I feel both are playing really well. I think Jason was playing like Turtle has been playing a lot better recently too. So that's why like it's hard for me to actually like. This is just like the biggest difference I see between the two is that Jason is fine with like losing lane a lot of the time, like where we're like getting some advantages elsewhere, whereas Mesh kind of wants to win through bot lane.
Yeah. So I think we can step away from the game now towards the end of the interview. I've noticed your room simultaneously has like some of the nicest elements and some of the least elements that I've seen from your room. So you definitely have, it's like what is that, a nightstand next to your bed?
Yeah, so that's like my girlfriend got me like an alarm clock that can kind of like it can actually also like meditation stuff. So like you can like play that kind of stuff. So it's nice to like fall asleep to and stuff like that. Then I have the picture frame that my girlfriend also gave me of like all the memories we have. Well, obviously not all of them, but there's some of the memories we have.
There's 4 memories with her, and they're really great. So you want to bring them all up, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have some books that I read at night, and then I have my what I don't even know what that's called. Where I put my clothing.
Yeah, hamper.
Okay.
So you have that. That's great, but your walls are very empty. So would you like? I think you already have the makings of a really great situation. Is that, by the way, is that like a curtain, a window curtain?
Yeah, that's a window curtain. Yeah.
A lot of pro players don't even do that. They won't even have curtains. So I'm just thinking if you stick some stuff on your walls, maybe that would help.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. I mean, okay. I'm kind of the guy that it's hard for me to move into a place like unless like I know this where I'm gonna be like forever, like kind of thing. So like I still
You've been on too many teams. You have like Apollo syndrome where you can't ever get comfortable and unpack somewhere.
Kind of, because basically like that was a wild where I moved team like every split, every second split.
Yes.
So it's like I couldn't really settle down, and I feel like if I were, it's probably with FlyQuest. So I'm really happy playing for this organization, and honestly, I should have probably made my room a little nicer.
Maybe that's how I should rate like how stable a player feels at an organization is just whether or not they've actually invested into their living space or not.
that might be a good idea.
Okay. Well, either way, I think I'm gonna turn this into a bit where I keep asking pros about their rooms. Either way, thank you so much, Santorin, for the interview. Anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Honestly, just keep supporting us. You should watch our aquarium. I think that's pretty cool, and it's pretty nice if you're like trying to fall asleep, stuff like that.
Wait,
And sorry
what
for
is
plugging
this?
that.
You have an aquarium?
Yeah, so we have like a stream just for aquarium.
What's it called?
Let me get it up real quick. It's
Okay.
called /FlyQuest, I believe. Just /FlyQuest.
I'm looking
like
at
Twitch,
FlyQuest. And it's,
Twitch TV /FlyQuest.
yeah, it looks like it's active. I'm sitting through a Snickers ad right now, but there's 46 people watching it. 24/7 live LCS Aquarium. Okay, I had missed this. Maybe you guys were tweeting about it and talking about it, and I had just missed it at some point in time. Oh, I see.
Well, it came out today, so it's pretty recent.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, and I see there's only a couple fish in it right now. Or maybe
Yeah,
that's all
so-
I can see. Oh, did I lose you? Did I lose internet? Hello.
That is unfortunate.
It's okay. We're leaving that whole thing in. Just my confusion while we lost connection with you. Okay, so back to this. Oh, okay. So there's like a fish. You even have like a fish picture in the bottom that
Yeah.
explains what the fish are.
Yeah, so
We lost him again. All right. Either way, I'm just gonna shout out twitch.tv/FlyQuest. Hello.
this is probably the weirdest.
No, that's fine. We're just gonna close it out. Thank you, Santorin, for the interview. Twitch.tv/FlyQuest if you guys want to see a aquarium. I think that's pretty cool. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching that interview outside of the LCS Dome, which is powered by Alienware, much like how I am powered by Alienware. I want to give a shout out to them for sponsoring us. There's some links in the description and a code that you can use to save 10% if you use that. But wait, there's more. I know you were thinking about leaving. I have a favor to ask of you. Also in the description is a link to a brand survey. That's right. We, Travis Gafford Industries, and all of my many, many employees are trying to gain insight into how you guys understand my sponsorships and who, I don't know, whatever. Just help the survey. It helps out the business a ton, and please be honest in it, because that actually will give us a good insight into if we're doing a good job with our sponsorship integrations or whatever. Either way, thanks so much for watching.